YouTube? Joyboy here. So, chapter 854 of One Piece has dropped. So if you haven't checked out that chapter yet, I suggest that you do so because I will be spoiling you. But now that you have, let's begin. This chapter provided so much clarification as to many of the things that we have been speculating for the entire Whole Cake Island arc. And it seems like we are finally almost ready to actually begin the tea party. It's dragging on a bit, but we're almost there, guys. Aside from Sanji giving Luffy the bento box, I cannot really see anything that absolutely needs to occur before the actual wedding ceremony. Which means it seems likely that the wedding will start at the end of next chapter or the chapter after that. But anyway, guys, let's go to all of the mysteries that were sort of tied together and finally explained in this chapter. And let's start off with Jinbe. And while many people were initially speculating many interesting ways in which Jinbe could have spun the roulette and what may have happened after that point in time, it seems like my last video talking about it was actually the truth. Jinbe never spun the roulette. But it looks like my reasoning for arguing this was actually kind of faulty because it does not appear like Jinbe actually knew what the consequences of spinning the roulette, what it would cause. It seems as though he only had the intuition to understand that spinning the roulette was not a good idea. And all things considered, this was actually a good idea because no matter what was going to happen, Jinbe would have had conflict with Big Mom because Jinbe plans on joining the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats had conflict with Big Mom. So spinning the roulette in this situation is literally just putting yourself in danger for no reason. And it seems like we had the answer all along when Charlotte Praline revealed that nobody who had attempted to lead Big Mom's crew had lived to see another day. Basically, spinning the roulette is automatic loss. But I still feel like the roulette has a role to play sometime in the future of the story. Because if you really think about it, the roulette didn't actually do anything in the current story yet. In the past, Pedro spun the roulette and it affected him, but Jinbe there was threats out there or implications that he may have spun the roulette, but he didn't actually do it. So as of right now, the roulette hasn't really done anything. And we still do not know what that king or Big Mom symbol on the roulette actually means. But moving on to the next mystery, it was always curious why Big Mom at every turn was sparing the Straw Hats, and I think this chapter really provided the final evidence for us to fully understand what was going on. On one hand, I believe in my previous speculation still, and I believe that it's at this point even more supported that Big Mom was allowing the Straw Hats an opportunity to try and succeed, although Big Mom did not think that they would succeed. I believe I phrased it in the past as some sort of test. I believe Big Mom was wondering if Luffy could actually back up his big talk from Fishman Island. We can see in this chapter that Soul King Brook was actually able to do something that has really never happened before. He was able to pretty badly injure Prometheus and Zeus. But as we can tell in this chapter, Big Mom was not angry about that. Rather, she congratulated Brook for a job well done. He surpassed her expectations. And we get the same implication from Big Mom's thoughts about the Straw Hats in the Seducing Woods, Luffy and Nami. Basically, she states that she never expected them to get out of the Seducing Woods, which again implies Big Mom semi-impressed with how far the Straw Hats were able to get. But I do think Big Mom was hoping for more. Luffy did say that he would actually take her down, and to this point, he didn't really get very close. But of course, Big Mom is under the impression that all the Straw Hats are already defeated. But as of right now, the only Straw Hat who is actually defeated would be Brook. Every other one is safe and sound and ready to act for the marriage. So I'm wondering just how impressed Big Mom would be with the Straw Hats crashing the wedding after she thought that they were already defeated. Now, I use the word impressed kind of loosely. I would say impressed angry because Big Mom does not strike me as someone who likes being in a way bested. The Straw Hats should consider it a huge W if they're able to mess up in any way Big Mom's plans for the marriage. So in this sense, Big Mom has already failed. But going back to why these Straw Hats were spared and not killed immediately, I think that it is because Big Mom has a flair for the dramatic. This is actually something that I said in the past, but I don't think that Big Mom actually just enjoys beating her opponents physically. She also likes to crush them mentally and emotionally. So when she tells Sanji that she will actually spare his comrades, the point of this is to give him hope that he can actually leave this marriage ceremony with everything that he loves. But of course, she wants to take that all away from him at the last possible moment. This same thing applies to the Vinsmoke. At any point in time, she could have just straight up beaten the Vinsmoke, but rather she wants to create this intricately laid plan, this facade of a marriage, so that at the last possible moment where the Vinsmoke are nearing their goal, it seems like, to ally with a Yonko and be able to achieve their dreams, boom, Big Mom takes that away from them. So Big Mom was literally sparing the Straw Hats and Luffy, etc., because she wanted to actually completely and utterly crush their dreams of saving Sanji by actually killing Sanji before she killed them. But of course, as should be obvious at this point in time, Big Mom's plans will not go as she has planned. These Straw Hats will obviously survive and escape, and I do not think that Big Mom will even be able to kill the Vinsmoke, at least not immediately. That just wouldn't be very provocative as a story. At the end of this chapter, we see Sanji thinking about what exactly he should do, and it seems as though he's resigned to his fate and sort of is hoping that the Straw Hats will be able to escape on their own. Bobbin then comes in and tries to take the meat out of the bento box, which, by the way, the meat was meant for Luffy. And it seems as though Sanji is either subconsciously thinking or already thinking that he's going to give that to Luffy. And so with this being said, he absolutely crushed Bobbin. And he then ran off, presumably to go to the place where Luffy said he would be waiting for Sanji. And so this ties in actually well with Sanji purposefully ignoring any chatter about these Straw Hats. I think he was actually legit not listening to whatever they were saying, because I think that Sanji may be under the impression that these Straw Hats were never captured. I think he just tuned all of that out, and that entire purpose was that so he could know exactly where to meet Luffy. And of course, Luffy has returned to that spot. And so guys, as of last chapter, I thought that Sanji was actually ready to fight, but after this last chapter and him still having doubts, I'm actually thinking that Sanji is still not ready. That the depressing Sanji story will continue until the actual wedding. But I do think Sanji is going to go to the spot and give Luffy the bento box, but I think that the conversation that they will have will essentially be Sanji telling the Straw Hats to leave, to let Sanji die along with the Vinsmokes, to give up on him, and this will set up the Straw Hats, specifically Luffy, making a point to go and rescue him. For me, after everything that has happened, if Sanji still does not realize that their only course of action is to actually fight, it suggests that Sanji won't make any plans to prevent Big Mom from doing what she has planned. And so if Sanji is not specifically going to inform the rest of the Vinsmoke family about their imminent danger, then it seems as though someone else would have to do that. And I just really feel like the Vinsmoke need to know what's going to happen before it actually happens, because as I stated, I don't think the Vinsmoke are just going to be wiped out like that. And so it could be the Straw Hats who actually do this, whether when they crash the wedding they inform everyone that the Vinsmokes are being betrayed, or they could potentially do this beforehand as well in an attempt to create a plan to save Sanji. But I'm still wondering what Capone's role in all of this really is, and we have that really ominous line from Vito, who seems to be Capone's second in command, that he has been and still is a huge fan of the Vinsmoke. And so I would assume, being a Big Mom pirate, Capone is aware of Big Mom's plans, and so with that being said, perhaps Capone will be the one to inform the Vinsmoke about what's to come. Perhaps this was Capone's plans all along. Keep in mind, the entire Germa 66 army is present within Big Mom's territory, and while they may not necessarily be equal to a Yonko, they still present a considerable force. And so part of what makes Big Mom's plan so infallible is the fact that she has misled the Vinsmoke as to the true nature of this red wedding. But those tables can easily be flipped on Big Mom herself, with the Vinsmoke actually plotting something, doing something in the wedding that will catch Big Mom off guard. And of course, we cannot forget the Tomatabako box as well, which will definitely go off and not be something that Big Mom will have expected. And so long story short, it seems as though Big Mom is in the power position, but if you consider all of these details and everything that's going on, Big Mom is actually probably more screwed than she has ever been in a very long time. And I still do strongly believe that at some point in this whole chaos, Big Mom will actually go into a rage. It seems like there would be no purpose for introducing the concept that Big Mom loses her mind for a short period of time if this does not happen again in the story. And so with all this being said, it seems as though this is the perfect opportunity to actually take down a Yonko. Big Mom, going into a rage, she will be attacking her own subordinates. Her finely laid plans for the marriage will definitely be ruined. The Straw Hats will probably appear out of nowhere, the Vinsmoke will probably not get caught off guard, and then she'll have a new enemy in Capone. If you really think about it, Big Mom completely and utterly failed in all of her plans. And so at this point in time, many people will probably mention in the comment section who haven't read the entire video or haven't listened to the entire video, Joy Boy, do you still believe that in some way that the Straw Hats may ally with or make friends with or leave with Big Mom's permission? Big Mom is clearly evil, crazy, psychotic. This chapter emphasizes that, Pudding as well, and so how can you believe these things? And I do still believe them, and one of the main reasons is that the Vinsmoke are no better. But conversely to Big Mom, their dream is actually detrimental to the entire world. Big Mom has a dream of making a country in which all races are protected. As well, she has a dream to conquer the Grand Line and become the Pirate King. She does some really cynical things. She's just, in general, her methods are not good, but still, she's not a danger to the entire world, while the Vinsmoke's plans are to completely and utterly destroy and take over the North Blue and potentially the entire world. And so with this being said, I see no situation in which these Straw Hats do not defeat the Vinsmoke, even if they have a common enemy in Big Mom. It's been noted on several occasions that the only real people that are worse than pirates, although there are a bunch of good pirates, are the nobility of the world. Captain Kidd and Killer said as much back in the Shibondi Archipelago arc. And so it seems as though using basically all the tools that we have at our disposal that perhaps Big Mom will actually be at a disadvantage very shortly in the coming chapters. There will probably never be a better time to outright defeat her without actually having to face her full power, as well as there will probably not be a better time to escape. But if the Straw Hats still have to defeat the Vinsmoke because the Vinsmoke are an absolute threat to their core values, then in a way they will actually be helping Big Mom. And if Big Mom does indeed go on a rampage and her subordinates are locked up in fights versus Capone and the Vinsmoke and the Straw Hats, then Big Mom herself will need help in order to come back into her right mind. As well as, I want you guys to consider, Big Mom's territory is a place that is free of racism, segregation, discrimination, all these things. Big Mom's islands are inherently good, and we are not led to believe in any way that this place is not as it appears to be. Which is odd because we are just about to reach the climax of the story. So I'm assuming Toddlin is true, Big Mom's dreams are true, and it wouldn't make sense for these Straw Hats to actually remove this place and defeat the person who has made this place a reality. So guys, I honestly see the Straw Hats saving Big Mom, despite everything Big Mom has done to them and what she plans on doing to them. And they may very well earn her respect. And I want you guys to keep this in mind. When it comes to storytelling, Oda is adept at, with all major plot twists, he sets it up so that you believe exactly what he wants you to believe up until the moment where he turns it on your head. When it came to CP9, we were led to believe that CP9 was actually, the members who ended up becoming part of CP9 were defeated and could not possibly be enemies, up until the point to where they took off their mask and it was revealed that they were in fact Lucci, Kaku, and Khalifa. The same applies to Ace. Right before Ace was killed, we got all the hope in the world that Ace would actually be saved. When it came to the Going Merry's sort of death was foreshadowed for a long time, but right before it was actually confirmed that she could not be saved, we were given hope that she would be fixed. And so guys, in this particular case, I think you should be highly skeptical of what Oda wants you to believe. And in this case, Oda wants you to believe that after this chapter specifically, it's now cemented for a lot of people, I imagine, that Big Mom and Pudding are the enemies. And people take this and forget that the Vinsmoke are equally bad, if not worse. And so there is no way that the Straw Hats are going to defeat both the Vinsmoke and the Big Mom Pirates, so this leaves open the potential that the Big Mom Pirates are not meant to be an enemy. Oda is just making us believe that they are. But anyway, guys, this was less of a first reaction to the chapter and more of a first reaction to the chapter coupled with future predictions, as well as sort of giving you my ideas for how the story will play out in the next couple chapters. I honestly felt like it was necessary to do this because, as I have stated, I think this chapter will cement your thoughts that Big Mom and Pudding are the enemies, but I still don't believe that you should necessarily be thinking that, although I could be wrong. But I want to make it clear that I'm going down with this idea, I'm going down with this ship if the idea is wrong. Because I feel like the only way you can possibly believe anything else is if you believe that the Vinsmokes will be friends with the Straw Hats, which I do not believe. But we're getting to the moment of truth, and soon everything will either line up with this speculation or they won't. And at the very least, I can say that regardless of what happens, I was 100% honest with you for the entire journey, which has been amazing. But anyway, guys, let me know what you thought about this chapter. Let me know if you noticed anything that perhaps I didn't notice, although I didn't really talk in depth about it. If you noticed anything interesting that I didn't talk about, please share. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video, subscribe if you want to be notified for my future videos, and as always, guys, have a wonderful day.